Thank you very much. As you know, the Security Council has just had two sessions in closed session, one on South Sudan, one on Yemen. I'd like to read some press statements, elements, as a result of both of those sessions in my capacity as President of the Security Council for August. I'll do South Sudan first. The members of the Security Council received a briefing from UN Office of the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs and the Secretary-General Mark Lowcock on the latest food security risks in South Sudan, and also received a briefing from the UN Secretary-General's Special Envoy for Sudan and South Sudan, Nicholas Haysom, and from SRSG, David Shearer, on the South Sudan peace process and on the situation on the ground, respectively. The briefings were provided in the context of Resolution 2417, which requests the Secretary-General to report swiftly to the Council when the risk of conflict-induced famine and widespread food insecurity in armed conflict contexts occurs, as well as following developments on the peace process. The members of the Security Council expressed grave concern about the level of food insecurity in South Sudan. They stressed that ongoing conflict is one of the main direct causes of the food security crisis in that country. They demanded once again that all parties to the conflict in South Sudan allow safe, timely, and unhindered access, humanitarian access, to all those in need. The members of the Security Council welcomed the region's role in reaching agreement on outstanding governance and security issues in the peace process, and they expressed their strong support for IGAD's role. They noted that considerable challenges remain on the path to peace, stability, and security, including the need for detailed plans for implementation. Council members expect all parties to immediately implement cessation of hostilities and ceasefire agreements, and to demonstrate their commitment to fully implement and finalise a more inclusive, revitalised ARCSS. Thank you. That was South Sudan. I would now like to turn to Yemen, where again Council members have agreed press elements. So I will now read out press elements on Yemen. The members of the Security Council met and heard a briefing from the Assistant Secretary-General on the recent attacks in Sada, which resulted in large numbers of civilian casualties, including children. They expressed their grave concern at these and all other recent attacks in Yemen. They called for a credible and transparent investigation, and they send their condolences to the victims and their families. The members of the Security Council called on all parties to comply with their obligations under international humanitarian law, including respect for the principles of distinction and proportionality. The members of the Security Council reiterated that there can only be a political solution to the conflict in Yemen. They reiterated their call for the full implementation of Security Council resolutions and statements, including Resolution 2216. The members of the Security Council expressed their full support for the efforts of the Special Envoy of the Secretary-General. They called upon all parties to engage in good faith with the UN-led process, notably consultations scheduled for September in Geneva. The members of the Security Council reaffirmed their strong commitment to the unity, sovereignty, independence, and territorial integrity of Yemen. Thank you very much.
Ambassador, can we ask you about Yemen? The statement calls for a credible and transparent investigation on the bus attack, but it doesn't specifically say an independent investigation. So are we to understand that the fact that the coalition is going to investigate could be satisfactory to the Council?
I think, as with all these things, the important thing is the word credible. If there is an acceptable, credible investigation, then the Council will want to consider next steps in the light of that. If any investigation held is not credible, the Council will obviously want to review that and want to review if more is necessary.
Ambassador, but shouldn't the Council also decide who's going to investigate? Is it the coalition, or who's going to investigate?
Well, the Council hasn't mandated an investigation by any particular body. The Council will now consult with the UN and others as to how the investigation best can be taken forward.
Ambassador, are you concerned about the recent tension between the two allies, the United States and Turkey, with the Trump administration doubling tariffs on Turkish steel and aluminium, as well as imposing sanctions on the two ministers?
Both Turkey and the United States are very close partners and NATO allies of the United Kingdom. We talk to them all the time, and we obviously take an interest in the events that are going on in the moment, but I won't comment further than that because I am not up to speed on the latest developments. Thank you very much, everybody.